Hello everyone, welcome to today's class of Certified Ethical Hacking by OneBet Labs. Well, I guess everyone is able to hear me and able to see the screen. First of all, let me know what topic we covered in the last session. Anyone? What was the last topic which we covered? Okay, Kali Linux, Nmap, HPing 2, HPing 3, and WP scan. Am I right? Yes. So, have we started our system hacking module? Okay, so today we will be starting with our system hacking theoretical module, and after that, next class we will be having the system hacking practical. So today we will be starting with system hacking theoretical module. Okay, so let us navigate to our CEH folder and the slides. Module number 6, system hacking. So system hacking in this module, what we will be studying is system is everything from network, server, everything is a system. And to hack a system, we need to follow particular steps. So today we will be studying about system hacking. So the first objective of this module is system hacking CEH. You can say CEH hacking methodologies. And the methodologies we will be knowing about few terms. Okay, we will understand the techniques which is used by hackers in order to gain access to the system. Then we will understand how to escalate the privileges. Okay, so if you remember, I have shared four phases of hacking. First is to footprinting and reconnaissance, then scanning, then gaining access, then maintaining access. Okay, so after system hacking, you need to gain access to the system. In system hacking, then you need to know how to escalate privileges. After hacking a system, it's not necessary that you are the admin of the system. So you need to make sure you are the admin. Then you need to understand the techniques which is used to create and maintain remote access to the system. Suppose you are able to hack a system and you are able to do the remote connection with the system. Okay. Now you need to understand how to do that, how to hack someone remotely. You need to understand what is a rootkit, what is steganography, steganalysis, and then techniques to hide your evidence of compromise. Suppose you compromised a system, you hacked the system, how to hide the evidence. Okay, and in the last, penetration testing. So all these things will be understanding starting from the methodologies. In the methodologies termed as CHM, CEH hacking methodologies, you need to understand what things we have completed in our previous modules. So as I told you, footprinting, scanning, enumeration, and vulnerabilities analysis, these four modules are very very important. Without completing these four modules, you cannot start with system hacking. Okay, the first thing I told you in the beginning of the syllabus, that footprinting, scanning, enumeration, and vulnerability analysis are the four modules which is very very important in order to continue further in ethical hacking course. So as we have successfully completed these four modules, and I hope whatever the assignments I gave to you all, you must have completed it. If not, then you may get a lot of issues which is beyond our control, beyond my control. Okay, so that's why it is suggested you are having all the modules, you are having a lot of time in order to just go through the modules. So do not waste your time and go through the modules. So after completing these four modules, we will be moving to system hacking. This is the module which we will be completing today. In system hacking, it is divided into three parts. If you remember, which I told you in the intro class of this course, gaining access, maintaining access, clearing logs. These three phases are very, very important. After doing all the basic information gathering, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing the logs is very, very important. So, in gaining access, we need to gain access of the system, which means if this is my laptop and I am the hacker, I need to gain access to the system. What I need to do, I need to find out the password. If it is using a password, I need to find the password. After finding out the password, maybe I'm not the admin user, so I need to escalate the privileges and make myself the admin so that I can perform any commands I want. Okay, then the next phase is to maintain access. Suppose right now I'm able to access this laptop, which means I gained the access. It doesn't mean that for the next few minutes still I will be the person who is having access. It's not necessary. Maybe I can lose my access because of restoration of the system. Maybe the victim is able to find out someone hacked the system, so he reset the password. I was having some network issues, so I'm back. So what we were discussing, these methodologies. So after gaining the access, we need to maintain the access. So after cracking the password, setting the privileges, we need to maintain the access. So maintaining access contains executing application and hiding files. Okay. Everyone kindly wait for a few minutes. I'm having unstable network connection. My Wi-Fi will be back in few minutes, and then we can I hope right now everyone is able to hear me. Let me know in the live chat, everyone, the confirmation of my audio. Yes, okay. I was having some network issue, that's why it was there. Okay, enough. Now, so these methodologies we discussed about gaining access, maintaining access, clearing logs. In gaining access, we will be cracking the password, hacking the system, isolating the privileges. In maintaining access, we need to execute some applications or we need to hide the files. So what is the meaning of executing application? Which means that suppose today I hacked the system, but tomorrow uh, again I need to access the system. So what we need to do is we need to execute some applications in the victim's computer, such as trojans, worms, malwares, which will be help or rootkits, which will be helping the attacker or us to regain the access to the system whenever we want, or using the botnet. Then hiding the files. In maintaining access, hiding files is very, very important. If you installed a rootkit or a virus, obviously you need to hide that particular file or particular application. So that is also important. And the last one is clearing the logs. In clearing logs, we need to cover the tracks of our evidence of our existence. The victim must not know about us that we are the hackers and we hacked his system or cracked his password or installed some malicious application. So for that, we need to cover the track. Okay, this is CHN. So now, system hacking goals. The first thing you all need to understand, what is the goal of hacking a system? Well, everything must have its own goal or objective. Without a goal or objective, a hacker never perform anything. You are not, a hacker is not blind. A hacker is not a fool. Okay, because hacking is a particular thing which is totally illegal, and if you try to do that particular thing without having a goal or objective, it's totally useless, and you may end up doing something wrong, and you may end up going into jail because it's illegal. So whenever you are doing these things, make sure you are having a specific goal, and the goal must be for legal purpose, not illegal purpose. Okay, the goal must define something legal. Now, that was all about goal of a attacker. Now let us discuss about goal of each and every step. Yes, just like a goal of an attacker, a goal of each and every steps is also there. For different hacking stages, different goal is there, and different techniques to perform that, to achieve that goal. So hacking stage, gaining access. So as we discussed, gaining access is the process in which we try to crack the password and gain the access to the system. The goal is to bypass access control to gain access. Technique, password cracking, social engineering. Then escalating privileges. In escalating privileges, the goal is to acquire the rights of other users or an admin. And technique is exploiting some known vulnerabilities of the system, which means to hack a system. Executing application, which means the goal is to create and maintain remote access by installing some trojans or malwares. So technique, install trojans, spywares, backdoors, keyloggers, rootkits, or worms. Then hacking stage, hiding the file. Hiding the file have its goal of to hide attackers malicious activities and data theft. This is the goal, and technique is rootkit steganography. Then covering tracks. After hiding the files, we need to cover our track of existence. So the goal is to hide the evidence of compromise, that the system is compromised, and the technique is to clear the log files. This is system hacking goal, which you need to remember. Page number 40, sorry, page number, this is 7. Page number 7, just go through the page number 7 of module number 6. Now let us discuss about the all the phases which we discussed, like gaining access, which includes cracking the password, which includes escalating privileges, then maintaining the access, which includes executing application and hiding the files, and the last one, covering the tracks. These three phases we will be discussing. Now password cracking is a technique using which you recover a password. Yes, never use the term password hacking. Never ever use a term password hacking. Every time use the term recovering of password. You will not be getting any tools over the internet if you search by the name of password hacking tools. It's illegal, and you may end up installing some virus in your software. Every time you can search for password recovery tools. Okay, the actual uh, the actual term you need to use is password recovery tools. Okay, so also the tools which we are having is also known as recovering password recovery tool, because password is somewhere already stored in your system. You just need to find out a technique or a method to recover that password. That's all. Now attacker use the cracking password techniques for what? For gaining unauthorized access. Okay, and most of the password cracking techniques are successful. Why? Because of weak password or guessable password. I think many of you are having your password as your phone number, year of birth, date of birth, month of birth, like that, your name at the rate this, your last name at the rate 321, phone number at the rate 123, like that. These passwords are guessable and can be easily hacked using different password attacking methods such as brute force or dictionary. I will explain it later what is brute force and dictionary. So never ever use any guessable password. Okay, never ever use any guessable password. Now password attacks are of different types. Generally it's non-electronic active online, passive online, and offline attack. Non-electronic means without the use of any software, any computer, any technical knowledge, known as non-electronic methods, which includes shoulder surfing. Shoulder surfing means if someone is trying to log into his Facebook account, for example, if someone is trying to log in to his Facebook account and you are standing beside of the user and you are just trying to focus what he is trying to type in the chat, sorry, in the username and password field. Okay, yes, peeking into his screen. That is known as shoulder surfing. Okay, then social engineering. Social engineering is a technique using which you can exploit a user by making friendship with him, a relation with him, and then exploiting the relationship. Okay, like that. And just a second. Okay, whatever your doubts are apart from the class, kindly do not ask right now in the live chat. Okay, whatever the doubts you're having from the topics, kindly ask those things only. Try to focus what I am teaching right now. Do not try to live in a in the past things and all. So if you have any doubts, you can ask after the this thing the topic ends. Right now, you're only allowed to ask the questions which I'm trying to explain here. Okay, so in the types of password attacks, as I told you, non-electronics, active online, passive online, and offline. In non-electronics, as I told you, shoulder shopping is the first one. Social engineering. Okay, let me give you an example of social engineering. Let us take example that you want to hack person A. Person A works in Infosys, for example. Person A works in Infosys. You sent a friend request to the particular person A, and person A accepted your friend request. Now you will try to build a relationship with the person, not like a relationship another way, which I mean that with a friend bonds and build trust with the person A, and then try to exploit that particular trust. That is social engineering. Okay. Now, what type of details you can gather using this social engineering? Well, if the person is working on a particular project in Infosys, you can ask for those specific details, sensitive credentials or data, like that. Those all things comes under social engineering. This is a very, very dangerous and very, very uh, commonly used method. Okay, and last one is dumpster driving. What is dumpster diving? Well, suppose many of us try to write down a password on a piece of paper. Okay, and a lot of contents we write on a piece of paper, and sometimes we try to just uh, throw the piece of paper, throw the particular garbage in our dustbin. And maybe there are some contents and there are some information which we threw up in the dustbin, which is very, very sensitive. Why we always try to um, destroy the ATM receipt? Whenever we withdraw a particular amount from ATM, we get a receipt, the printed receipt. Okay, now every time you try to destroy the particular receipt. Why? Because you do not want someone else to see that particular digits, your bank balance or whatever the details are. So just like that, a lot of things apart from the ATM receipts and all, we may write it down on a piece of paper or in our diary or somewhere else, and maybe we just threw it out in our dustbin. So attackers try to find out those piece of information in dustbin or in garbage, known as dumpster diving. I hope it's clear, the dumpster diving term. Okay, so dumpster diving means to search for particular information from garbage or from dustbin, known as dumpster diving. So it was this is non-electronic attack. Active online attack. In active online attack and in passive online attack, there is only single difference, which is in active online attacks, the attacker needs to communicate with the victim directly. Okay, attacker performs password cracking by directly communicating with the victim, and in passive, the attacker performs the password cracking without communicating with the authorizing party. Which means in active online attack, the attacker is having the access to the victim's computer or to the victim's particular device, like that. And in passive, the attacker uh, do not have any access to the system of the victim, and victim also don't know that there is something going on with his system. So those examples includes wire sniffing, okay, then man in the middle attack, and then replay attack. And in offline attacks, if you're having access to the laptop, then you can just use rainbow table attack and distributed network attack. I will let you know what is this later. Okay, few users are saying that voice is breaking. Let me know everyone if everyone is facing the same issue, voice breakage. Anyone? No, it's clear. So I think what's the name? Pranay, you are having some network issues. Okay, let's continue further. So I hope types of password attacks is clear to everyone. Non-electronic, active, passive, and online. What is man in the middle attack? So man in the middle attack means suppose if my laptop is there, I'm using my laptop and I'm connected to the internet and I'm transmitting some data over the internet, which can be logging into Facebook, doing a transaction online, purchasing something online, or sending some messages to my friends online. What happens? Man in the middle attack means a attacker will be sitting in between the network, between your laptop's network and the internet's connection. Okay, known as MITM, man in the middle attack. In this, whatever the packets you are sending to the particular server using the internet, first it is being passed from the attacker's machine. Attacker is sniffing all the packets which you are sending from your laptop or device. Now, what can attacker do is the attacker can sniff all the packets, can run different tools in order to capture important details from the packets, such as plain passwords, plain texts, different information. Okay, but suppose if your connection is encrypted, suppose if your connection is encrypted, in that case it is little hard for the attacker to use to perform the man in the middle attack. Replay attack, wire sniffing, we will be seeing in practical, don't worry. Replay attack I will explain in the practical. It's a little different from all these kind of attacks. So I will let you know in the practical the replay attack. It is little like confusing. Just a second, everyone. Okay. Rainbow attack is a type of attack in which We try to decrypt the hashes of the windows. Like suppose if you are having a password in your Windows operating system, suppose you are having a password. The password is stored in a hash manner in Windows C drive system32 folder named as SAM. Okay, rainbow table attack is a method in which we use pre-computed hashes. This is a technique using which we try to decrypt the hash and try to find out the plain password. John the Ripper and different tools we will be using in Kali Linux for cracking the password in the practicals. Okay, now let us continue further and let us continue further to the rest of the topics. Let's move to maintaining access topic. Sorry, escalating privileges topic. Now we are here into escalating privileges. Now, as I told you, escalating privileges is not that much of a big topic, so I will be just summarizing the whole thing. Privileges escalation is very important because not every time if you are able to hack a password and gain access, not every time it's likely to be a admin user. Sometimes you may be a non-admin user if you hack the account. Now if you are the non-admin user, you must know this thing that whenever you try to install any application or do anything, you need to provide a password or identification of an authorized user. So in that case, having an admin access or admin privileges is very important. So attacker can gain access to the network using a non-admin user account, and the next step would be to gain admin privileges. So for doing that, we may need to follow different techniques and to take advantages of a design flow or programming errors or bugs and configuration oversights. Whatever the exploits are there with the system or the network, we need to use those exploits or those bugs or vulnerabilities. Okay, now these privileges, gaining admin privileges, what will happen? What is the use of getting admin privileges? Just to install a software? No, not like that. Gaining admin privileges is very important in order to view critical and sensitive information of the particular user, delete files, install malicious programs such as virus, trojans, and worms. So apart from installing programs, deleting a file and to view critical or sensitive information, you need admin access. Okay, so proceeding further. So for privilege escalation, we do have a lot of techniques which we will be using in practicals. Okay, so this one we will be covering in the practical session, the privileges escalation. Now, privileges escalation by the help of exploit DB is also very popular. I hope you heard about exploitdb.com. Exploitdb.com. On exploitdb.com, lot of vulnerabilities are uploaded or available. Okay, so suppose for a particular operating system you wanted to find out some vulnerabilities, you may go to this website and find out the vulnerabilities of the particular operating system, and using that you can exploit. Don't worry, I will show you a practical oriented steps how to perform this particular activity. No, this is not illegal website. ExploitDB is not a illegal website. ExploitDB is not a illegal website. Okay, no website is illegal. If it is available over Google, then it's not illegal. Google itself having its own profile on this website for exploit vulnerabilities details and all. So proceeding further, privileges explanation is completed. We'll just having a summary. We'll see the rest of the things in explanation in our practicals because it's very small topic. executing application. Now here we need to understand then after gaining the access, okay, we need to maintain the access. In order to maintain the access, we need to install different programs such as trojans, spywares, malwares, which will be helping us and the attackers in order to continuously look into the system. Whenever you want to access, you can access. Those things can be done by using keyloggers, backdoors, spywares, crackers. Keylogger is used to get keystrokes. Keystrokes means if you press a button in your laptop, suppose if you press a button in your laptop, say that S, you pressed S in your laptop, it will be a keystroke. Okay, now this keystroke will be logged into a particular file. Okay, in the case of if a keylogger is installed in your system, what will happen if you type anything, any keystroke, it will be stored in a text file or a particular file. And regularly, suppose after half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, all the logs which is created will be sent to the attacker. So if you have typed facebook.com, it will be stored in the particular file. If we have typed email, it will be stored. If you have typed password, it will be stored. If you hit enter, it will be sent to the attacker, like that. This is the use of keylogger. So if a keylogger is there in your system, your system is very unprotected, very dangerous condition. Then we have backdoors. Backdoors are type of programs or scripts which is created just in order to gain access to the system whenever you want. So a backdoor is a kind of script which is installed or executed in the system. Suppose after 2 months you want to gain access again, just execute the backdoor remotely. That's all. You will be getting access. Spyware. Spyware is a tool which is used to do the spy operation on the particular system. Just like uh, a jasus in movies, a spyware is a same kind of script. Okay, so spyware is the third one. And crackers are also just like these these kind of scripts which is used for cracking the particular application and then using it for illegal purposes. So a lot of tools are there for executing the applications: remote execute, PDQ deploy, Dameware remote support, manage engine desktop central, PS execute, the fat rat. All these tools is used for executing the applications. Okay, so normally it is not possible to identify these executable apps because they use very costly cryptors. A cryptor is a tool which is used for hiding a virus from antivirus or hiding a malware from antivirus. So if a hacker is planning this much of big things, they must be using some costlier crypto which is undetectable by 100 like lot of antiviruses. So generally it is not easy like that. If the virus is not crypted, if the malware is not crypted, then it will be detected by the antivirus very easily. What is a malware? Malware is everything: the virus, the worm, the spyware, adware, ransomware, everything comes under malware. A malware is a program which executes for a specific reason or for specific work based on the instructions given. Okay, a malware is generally termed as a malicious script, which is only developed in order to do damages to the system. It includes virus, worm, Trojan, spyware, adware, ransomware. All these things comes under malware. So keylogger, we already discussed types of keyloggers, all these things. Types of keyloggers, generally two types of keyloggers are there: hardware and software. Hardware looks like this: physical devices. Just put it only in the device, in the laptop or desktop. It will start capturing the details. And the software keyloggers includes different softwares which is used for keylogger purpose, such as perfect tool, perfect keylogger, blazing tools, perfect keylogger, like that. I will let you know in the practicals. So proceeding further, executing application is completed. Just go through the module. You will be able to find out a lot of tools which we will be covering in the practical. How to defend against keyloggers, everything is mentioned. So just go through the module. Let us proceed to hiding files. Now, as we discussed about executing application, now let us discuss about hiding files. Hiding file is very, very important, and it is used by attackers to hide malicious operation which was performed in the system. For that, rootkit is a very, very popular program. Rootkit is a program which is used for hiding the presence. Rootkit will hide the presence of itself along with whatever the tools or scripts or files we are attaching with it. Okay, so rootkits are programs that hide their presence as well as attackers' malicious activities, which grants them full access to the server or host at that time and also in the future. So rootkit is very, very important and will be used by a lot of and is used by a lot of attackers. Okay, so rootkit is very, very dangerous program. So types of rootkits, well, hypervisor level toolkit, hardware level rootkit, kernel level rootkit. There is not much more difference. The difference will be easily understandable while we will be using the rootkit tool. Okay, so hypervisor includes virtual machine, hardware or firmware includes code integrity, and kernel level kit generally based on OS kernel and device driver codes. What's the difference? I'll explain you later in the practical. Okay, so rootkit is very, very popular and very, very easy to use tool. So rootkits, just have example here: Horsepill, Greyfish. These two tools are very, very dangerous and also blacklisted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, because it's very, very popular. Horsepill, Horsepill is a Linux kernel rootkit. Okay, Horsepill is a Linux kernel rootkit that resides inside the a particular directory is there, which is known as INITRD, using which it infects the system and devices the system owner and deceives the system owner with the issue of container primitives. Horsepill, very, very dangerous level of rootkit. Okay, so you won't even know there are some malicious activities happening in your system, malicious tools are in your system. You will only see that your system is hanging. Okay, you may have tried lot of antiviruses, you may have tried scanning your system thousands of times, but still the antivirus is not able to detect any single virus, and still your system is hanging. Okay, so many time you do the reinstallation of the operating system by formatting the laptop, still the same issue uh, is like happens, which means rootkit is there. Okay, how to detect these rootkits? I will let you know. I will let you know how to detect these rootkits. FBI ban means FBI, no, sorry, not banning, blacklisted. Sorry, FBI blacklisted these softwares, which means that using this software, even for good purposes, is not allowed. Not only for legal, sorry, not only for illegal. Even you cannot even use this tool for any purposes. Even if you're not having any use, you still uh, are not allowed to store this software in your system like that. So it's blacklisted. I will let you know the solution, don't worry. How to detect rootkits, I will let you know. Just wait for the this thing, particular content. So horsepill and greyfish, the very, very dangerous level of rootkits. Okay, Cyrefif, Neckers, two more tools. Okay, detecting rootkits. Now detecting rootkits is very simplest way. Okay, first is integrity based detection. Okay, integrity based detection means it compares a snapshot of the file system, boot records, or memory with a known trusted baseline. Okay, suppose uh, in the BIOS, we can find out total available space in our hard disk, total RAM in our hard disk, or cache memory in our hard disk, like that, in our sorry in our system. And if sometimes we start or boot our laptop, we may see some unusual space occupied by some unusual folder. We open the folder, there is nothing in it, but still it occupies a lot of space. We delete it, still this particular space, the particular storage amount is there, which means a particular rootkit is there. Okay, signature based detection. This technique compares characteristics of all system process and executable files with a database of known rootkit fingerprints. There are few tools, okay, which is used for finding out a fingerprint. What is fingerprint? Sorry, signature. Well, you know that to withdraw amount from a particular check, the actual person or the actual account owner needs to do the signature. Signature is the identity of the person, correct? To identify and to approve the particular amount needs to be detected from the account, you need to do the same signature, which is your particular uh, identity. Just like that, each and every rootkit has its own signature. Even a virus has its own signature. Even a malware contains its own signature. There are a lot of techniques and tools available over the internet which is used to find out a signature of the particular rootkit. So if the tool is able to find out the signature of the rootkit, which it means that it can be solved. Okay, like that. Then there are a lot of methods using which we can detect rootkits. Detecting rootkit is not very hard. It's very easy. How to remove the rootkits? Well, for removing the rootkits, we do have anti-rootkits. Okay. How to defend the rootkits is we can use anti-rootkits or reinstall the OS application. The first point, reinstalling the operating system or applications after backing up with the critical data. So I know many of you must have used the reinstallation OS step, but I think whenever you reinstall the OS, you just try to keep the old data somewhere in the hard disk or pen drive, and then you use the same old data and pen drive for reinstalling the whole thing. That's the mistake which you do. Okay, if you reinstall the operating system, do not use a single data from the previous laptop or previous sorry from the previous operating system. May the rootkit may may have infected all the files which you have backed up. So first point is this, and the very easiest one is reinstalling the OS. Okay, then there are a lot of steps such as automated installation procedures need to be kept, kernel memory dump analysis, workstation and serve, harden the workstation and server, educate the staff, install network and host based firewalls, ensure availability of trusted installation media, update and patch, update antivirus, anti spyware, avoid logging in an account with admin privileges. Okay, a lot of things are here. The first, the very easy one is to reinstall the operating system, but do not try to use any hard disk or any pen drive which is having any relation with the previous old data. That's the first thing which you need to understand here. Rootkit can be implemented anywhere, not only in the system, even on a server, the rootkit can be implemented. This is the method on how to detect or defend against the rootkit. Yes, the data will be lost. This is the only. No, it's not necessary the data is lost. Just try to use the particular old data in some different system with a running antivirus or running anti spywares or anti malwares or anti rootkits. Okay, like these tools are anti rootkits. Stinger, Avast is also anti rootkit software. TDSS Killer, Malwarebytes, Rootkit Buster, Unhack Me. Use these tools to find out if something is wrong with your system, sorry, with your file. If it is not, then just restore the backups. That's all. It's very, very simple. Do not directly use in the system which is reinstalled. Use somewhere else. This is the step using which you can easily detect a rootkit. Now let us understand steganography. Steganography is a process using which we hide a secret message with the ordinary message. Suppose I'm the attacker and I want to send some message with my teammates. I'm an attacker. I want to send a message to my teammates. I do not want it to be seen by anyone. So we do have features of encryption of messages in WhatsApp and all. No, that's not the thing. It means that you are typing the actual thing which you are trying to convey to the teammates. But what if someone is able to see the message not in between the network but in your smartphone or in your device? So to protect those things, we use steganography. Steganography is a technique of hiding a secret message with the ordinary message. When the message will reach the user, or when the message will reach the recipient, then only it will extract at the destination and will show the user the actual message. I hope you are getting my point. Now, I typed hi, hello, tomorrow we need to meet. Okay, then we steganographed the whole message and attached a actual message, the original message. Now, whenever we send the message, it will be hi, tomorrow we need to meet. Over the server, it will be encrypted, but hi, we need to meet. And when it will reach the destination, it will automatically extract it and will show the original message. Okay, known as steganography. So steganography is very, very important. We'll see that example also. There are a lot of steganography methods, such as using the image, using document, using folder for hiding your messages, using videos to hide your message, using audio to hide your message, using white space to hide a message, using web steganography to hide your message, using spam email to hide your message, using DVD-ROM to hide your message, natural text steganography to hide your message, hidden OS steganography to hide your message. A lot of things, a lot of options we do have here. Okay, so we'll see the this one in the practical. So let us proceed further and let us go to covering tracks. Covering tracks are also very, very important because you need to make sure that no one is able to track you back. So covering track is a process using which you just try to clear your tracks and clear the log files. Okay, so if you are doing something with the victim, suppose some changes in the system, some hacking activities, escalating privileges and all, every time whenever you do something, a log is prepared and is stored in the system files for each and every minute or each and every second. Whenever you do something, we need to clear those log files so that the victim must not be able to find out that there is something wrong with the system or the network. So clearing logs is very, very important. Disabling the auditing. Auditing is very, very important here. So disable the auditing tool so that it must not, the logs must not be audited and must not be able to show the log results. So clear the logs, and we do have a lot of software for clearing logs also. Okay, so we'll see that in the practical. So this is it for the system hacking module. In the next class, we'll be having the practical of system hacking. Anyone having any doubts, you can ask me in the live chat. To yesterday there was no class as I was having my flight at in the morning, and I was planning to take the class in the night, but my flight got delayed 12 hours, and I was unable to reach my destination because of that. So that's why the class was not there, and that's why the information was not provided because I was not having access to anything. So that was unfortunate. A few recordings appending will be uploaded just now. When I will end the session, everything will be uploaded. Okay. The app is about to launch. Don't worry, the app is about to launch. In the same app, the discussion will be also there. So how many of you are interested to go with the membership plan? How many of you like the membership offer? Well, the membership is a plan in which it's like, suppose right now we are having 20 courses. Okay. The plan starts from 3,000 actually. Okay. 3,000 is the price of lifetime membership. Lifetime membership means right now we are having 20 courses. So all those 20 courses you will get instant access. Apart from that, every month we will be launching two courses. Okay, every month we will be launching two courses. You will get the access of all those courses every month when it will be launched, only for 3,000. So in 3,000 you will be a club member of OneBet Labs eSecurity. eSecurity is the app name which is going to be launched. It's not available in the Play Store, but it will be named as eSecurity. And you will get a membership of this particular app. And if you pay the 3,000 amount, you will get lifetime access. It's lifetime, not monthly. It's lifetime. Okay, pay 3,000 for lifetime access, and in future you don't have to pay anything else for any course. Okay, I know every time user or you want to purchase different courses, and different courses cost 300, 400, 500, 600 for different topics. But instead of that, just pay a 3,000 of one time amount and just have the membership, and you don't have to pay anything else for the rest of your life. Okay, so this is our membership plan and is going to live within a few days. And not only in India, it will be available all over the globe for each and every student. So we will let you know in the group when it will be live. Okay. May I know which courses are available? Well, every course will be related to cybersecurity. Okay, nothing else apart from cybersecurity, everything related to cybersecurity. Okay, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, different Android platforms, individual courses for different platforms, Linux hacking, Mac hacking, like that we're having multiple courses. And every month, based OSCP will be also having, OSCP will be also having, and based on the market trend, whatever the things, whatever the hacking techniques are over the trend in the market, we'll make two courses, exclusively two courses every month, and you will get the access of all those courses every month. Okay, and what makes this thing exclusive is we will not be selling any course to anyone. Okay, suppose we launched two courses next month, the course will not be sold anywhere, which means it's exclusive. So you will not find the particular course anywhere. It's only for the members. So like that, we are having the plan, and it will be launched within few days. Yes, only in the app. You will not be selling the course anywhere. It will be only available to the members who are the club members. Cryptography will understand when we will reach the particular module. It's last one. Okay. Which college is best for cybersecurity? Well, there is no college in India for cybersecurity. The only university is EC Council. If you are interested in cybersecurity, you can go for master in computer science or a bachelor in computer science. Sorry, computer security. Bachelor in computer security, master in computer security is available by EC Council University, Singapore. From there, you can do your bachelor's or master's. The tools, the tool is uploaded to a separate server, which for those who are not able to download it from Google Drive, I will share the link. Our own server it's uploaded, so I will share the link over the drive. Some of you faced some issues. Right now it's on our own server. I will share the link of One Bad Labs. Okay, everyone, this is it. Few recordings are pending. It will be uploaded, and group, no, group is not there in the app itself. It will be there. There is one discussion forum where you can post your doubts. I will share the link in the group. Yes, everything is there in the membership. The tools, the support, the live chat support, everything is there. Okay, it's not like that take membership and tata bye bye. Not like that. Everything is there. If you are not having any IT background or anything else, there is no issue in that. Okay, don't worry. No, it will be not totally live. Okay, the live sessions will be there, such as workshops, boot camps, the practical classes, and all, and the rest will be uh, course materials, the videos, which will be recorded by me by different tutors, and will be available exclusively. Most of you think, why cannot we go to YouTube and see all those videos? But though the same video is being like watched by millions of users, what if I give you something exclusive? What if we provide you something exclusive content? Okay, isn't it great? So like that, we give you exclusive content as guaranteed. So it will be like that. Yes, tools will be also there. So it will take some time. I will explain you everything else about the membership when it will be launched. Don't worry. Job opportunity, well, yes, in every industry there is a job opportunity, especially in ethical hacking. There are almost 3.5 million job opportunities in 2021. So if you go through the course carefully and you just gain the experience, I bet you will be getting a good position in a company. Ayush, there is no date for last date for enrollment of the membership. You can enroll anytime when the app will be launched. It's not any specific last date and all. Yes, the lifetime support is there, Sachin, as it's a membership, so there is no limitation. There is no last date. It will be launched, and the price is available for everyone. Okay, everyone. So the rest we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, this is it for today. Yes, footprinting and scanning is completed. Shailesh, EMI and everything else, I will be sharing. I will share the details when it will be available. Right now, it's not live, so kindly wait for some time. Okay, thank you, everyone. This is it for today. I hope you like the session. Now you can leave the class and have a good night ahead. We'll meet again tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Bye bye, everyone.